you ready? I said, are you ready for Let's Talk Whoa Hockey? And now, here are our hosts, Beth and Zach.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 41st episode of Let's Talk Whoa Hockey. Of course, it is WoShow time. We do apologize for the delay. Zach had things. I had things. I actually am podcasting currently from a brand new desk because mine was broken by a contractor over the weekend. So it has been a thing. As always, we are brought to you by 5 in a Game Sports Network. How are you doing today, buddy?
Doing good. Can't complain. It's been a whirlwind of a few days. Obviously, if you're on the YouTube version, you see that I got some stuff behind me. I'm actually officially in the office. 95% done, but yeah.
That deserves a clap. Like, for our audio listeners, even if you don't really do a lot on YouTube, please swing on by and check it out. Zach has a beautiful background behind him. He is actually in his office. He is no longer podcasting from the dining room table.
Yeah, and the nice thing too is I got my folks were down here for the weekend, so it was nice. Got a lot of cool, got the desk, the bookcase. I actually got a lamp beside me, which I can't show you guys right now. But the thing is, because it's one of those ones where you get put stuff on the inside if you want to do something a little fancy with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, a friend of the show, the Demigod, has sent me a 1990-1991 NHL Pro set of hockey cards with a little crease at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
My folks actually put the cards in there, so I literally have a hockey card lamp. So it's got on the if you look on the outside, it's got Dave Tippett from the Whalers, someone from the Penguins, Kirk McLean from the Canucks.
Nice.
The black jersey flying skate Canucks ones.
Woo!
And then right on top, obviously Mark Messier is one of them, but the top, it's Ray Bourque with the Boston Bruins. You can't go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong with Ray Bourque. Did get the opportunity to meet him a few years ago. He is a legend of a human being. Absolutely great. If you ever get the chance to go to an event where Ray Bourque is a guest, I highly recommend it. And as always, I will always pass on the message that I give to anyone when it comes to going to sporting events. If an athlete or a retired athlete is eating, leave them alone and you wait until they are done, and they will respect you all the more for doing it. Because I just I didn't hover around Ray Bourque, but I did just kind of stand back. He was sitting at the bar eating after the event because it was an alumni hockey game kind of situation.
Right.
And so I just kind of hung back, was chit-chatting with some friends. He finished eating, wiped his face, wiped his hands off with a little wet nap. And I walked up and I was like, Mr. Bourque, I didn't want to interrupt you while you're eating, but, you're absolutely a legend. I'd love to get a picture. I have it around here somewhere. And he said that it is not often that people respect that. If an athlete is eating, please do not put yourself anywhere near their face, hands, or mouth. Just don't do it. Don't do it. You might lose a limb, especially after they've played a hockey game and they've been retired for a considerable amount of time. Right. A little bit of life advice if you're ever meeting an athlete. So
right, but how are you doing though? Outside of having to get a new desk replaced by a contractor, and how was the wedding?
The wedding was really good. It was absolutely beautiful. My cousin Karen actually did the flowers and centerpieces for the wedding and the reception. I got to see my grandma, which is always great. I mean, she's 90, so take every opportunity to see her when I can. Right. She did ask the next time I would be coming up to Michigan. And I just kind of looked at her and laughed. And I said, probably in one of the summer months when it's, gorgeous in northern Michigan and absolutely the pit fires of hell in Florida. Because I don't do Michigan, especially northern Michigan, almost Canada in the winter.
And unless it's say a road trip to, I don't know, Michigan or Central Michigan or stuff like that, where it's during hockey season.
Yeah. The last time my mom and I made a pilgrimage to northern Michigan was Christmas in 2014. 2015. We made a whole road trip. We went up and visited my grandpa who lived in Illinois and saw him at his assisted living facility, and then went up to see her parents. And both my grandpas were alive at this time, so it was kind of like we knew that the end was coming pretty soon for one or both of them. So we made the trip up there. That's also the Christmas that I got my Chicago Blackhawks Santa Claus hat and that beautiful Corey Crawford jersey that's hanging out right here. That was my Christmas present, because that was also the year that I got to go to the Winter Classic. So
you love to see it. That's awesome. So
absolutely. I did make a singular snow angel and then remembered that I was like in my 30s and it was cold, and then I went inside. But enough about like not women's hockey, because
it's WoShow time. I mean, we got it,
It's WoShow time. And of course, we are going to start off with our friends over in the PHF. I feel like this shouldn't even say weekend recap. This should say week recap, because
it was a very interesting week seeing, Tuesday, Wednesday games. Like,
I didn't hate it.
I could get used to it, honestly. Like,
I really could. And honestly, like in the next few seasons, I could see games not being played on just the weekends. So it was really awesome to see the Connecticut Whale and the Buffalo Buttes did have to make up 2 games due to Buffalo not being able to travel during the winter apocalypse that happened in Buffalo a few months ago. The first game between the Whale and the Buttes was absolutely a thing we Whale fan love to see, because it was an Abby Ives shutout, and we love when brick wall Abby Ives comes to play. It was a great game. The final score was 3-0. Watching hockey on a Tuesday was just like, it made my heart so happy. Like, it really made my heart just absolutely delighted. I didn't have anything to do on a Tuesday night, so I was watching the PHF, and it was great. The social teams were on it too. The Whale kept telling kids, like, you can forget your homework for right now, but just kidding. Like, don't forget your homework. Please do your homework. It was a great game.
I mean, the PHF Twitter is like, certain teams are still undefeated for sure. There's some that could be like, step it up a little bit, but there's some ones where you're just like, yeah, we're here for it.
Oh, for sure. And we saw 3 goals from the Whale. Obviously, Justine Reyes opened up the scoring in the second period. We did have a Kennedy Marchment goal. I don't even think we can say have a season anymore. Like, just have a career, Kennedy Marchment, because my goodness,
it's only like a season and a half, and it's like, her career. It's just a career at this point.
Yeah,
it's like,
at this point, like, just have a career, because we do have a small Kennedy Marchment update coming up here in just a moment as well. And then the scoring was closed by Katerina Mrazova in the third period. So, a nice 3-0 Whale shutty. It's not something that you hate to see.
No, you're always here for the shutties. I mean, they're just so
absolutely nice. They are just absolutely beautiful. And then, of course, they again played on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, we did see the Whale take another win. This time, it was 7-3.
The Whale, it was really awesome, and they came to play that game because goals on the extra point was good, as they say.
The extra point was good, and another great thing that we got to see in this game was a Kennedy Marchment hat trick, and that just has a beautiful, beautiful ring to it. I mean, just Kennedy Marchment hat trick. I want to say that so many more times in my life. This game saw goals from a lot of Whale players. We had Samo open the scoring. Pickles scored next. Then the first Kennedy Marchment goal. Then Justine Reyes decided, I'm going to join the party too, because it was just you get a goal and you get a goal. Oprah must have been in attendance.
I mean, the fact we get a Pickles goal, you just knew automatically at that point, yeah, this is going to be a Whale win, because whenever Pickles scores, it's always a good time. So, I mean,
it's true. I also may or may not have texted Courtney because the Ice Hogs were playing that night. And I said, okay, well, one Pickles has a goal. So we need brother Pickles to also get a goal. Unfortunately, he did not deliver, but it's fine because
he didn't get the memo. Obviously, it's like, come on, man. If your sister scores, you have to score. That's how it works. I mean,
that's how it works.
What are we doing here, man? Like, come on, you got to be on top of it a little bit for us. You got to come through
for sure. And then just before the end of the first period, the Buffalo Buttes did sneak one past the Tendy. Summer Rae Dobson did net a goal. In the second period, there was only one goal, and that was from Claudia Kepler of the Buffalo Buttes. And she turned around about 7-ish minutes into the third period and said, I wasn't done, and scored a second. So at that point, we had Claudia Kepler on Hattie watch, and it was like, oh gosh, what's happening? But the Buttes did come back like 45-ish seconds later with Kennedy Marchmont's second goal. That was followed up a little over a minute later with Hannah Bates scoring. And then Kennedy Marchmont's hat trick goal did come on the empty net. And she just kind of, rounded out a absolutely phenomenal evening. And not only was it on an empty net, the Whale were also short-handed.
Short-handed empty net goals. Ooh, like it's bad enough when it's just an empty netter, but you're on a short-handed empty netter too. You hate to see it. Like that's just like, oh, that's like a double whammy. It's like you don't want to see that.
It really, really is. But don't necessarily hate to see it.
No, I mean, on our bias side is not upset with it. As PHF fans, you're kind of like, oof. Yeah. But it's like it's oof Maroons. But what can you do though? So I mean.
And, while we're on Whale news, we will just go ahead and wrap up their weekend series against the Toronto Six because they did play Tuesday, Wednesday, and then again on Saturday and Sunday. So that's a
lot of hockey for the Whale.
That is a lot of hockey for the Whale, and they did have to make the trip up to Toronto because they were playing in Toronto. Saturday's game wasn't really a Whaley great effort that we wanted to see, but again, I'm going to go with they were probably a little tired. I mean, they played 2 games. They had like a day and some change, and then they had to board the bus to Toronto. The Whale
which is not a quick trip either, though. That's
no, it's really, really not. The Whale did lose that game 7-4 to the Toronto Six. We did see 2 goals from Brianne Wilson-Bennett. We also saw 2 goals from Teresa Vazova and 2 goals from Brittany Howard. There were a lot of 6 players on Hattie Watch. We did get Whale goals from Pickles herself. She did open the Whale scoring. And then we had another goal from Melissa Samoskevich. And Katrin Lonergan and Justine Reyes did round out the scoring for the Whale that day. Again, I'm going with there was some tiredness. The game definitely was a little slow to start, and you could tell towards the end of the game there were some tired Whales out on the ice. They needed some fresher legs than they had. But again, the schedule was made prior to anyone knowing.
Yeah, because you're used to. I mean, for the PHF, you're used to like what 2 games in like 2 days basically, and that's pretty much it.
And then you get like 5 days off. And then you do it again if you don't have a bye week.
Yeah, it's just like it's not common to see 4 games in 1 week for a team. So I guess it's kind of like I think like once we get more teams in the league and this becomes more of a thing, I guess players will start getting used to it. But doing this on short notice, yeah, especially with the trip, like you said, to Toronto, which is not. I mean, you are resting, but it's not like your body's fully recovered by then, especially when you just got done with a bus trip. So
exactly,
it is what it is. But hey, another Pickles goal, can't be upset about it. So I mean, it's and Reyes is just like, hold up. I know you scored a lot of goals there, Kennedy, but let me have a word.
Yeah, I'm going to take a couple for myself. And I mean, Katrin Lonergan is also having a fantastic rookie campaign. She's been on the score sheet several times already this season.
Some about Wells rookies, man. They just know how to score when it will. So, I mean, there must be something about Wales rookies when it comes to scoring goals. It's just
it has to be.
It makes sense.
It really, really does. And then to round out the Whale recap, since they did play 4 games this weekend, we did play again in Toronto on Sunday, and that did see the Whale come out with a victory 4-1 versus the Six. Scoring was opened by Alyssa Wolfiler, or as the Whale like to call her, Alyssa Scorefiler, that was a good tweet to see. And then the second period saw whale goals from Kennedy Marchment and Katrin Lonergan.
Of course.
In the third period, of course, Kennedy Marchment came to score again.
Oh, no. Again?
But here we go. Also shorthanded and unassisted.
Something about Kennedy Marchment and shorthanded goal is just somehow sounds right. It just makes sense.
It really does. And then the Six did find a way to squeak one by Abby Ives at 8:27 in the third period. Brittany Howard did tuck one in, and that was the final goal scored of the game. Final score 4-1. I mean, to give you an idea, Abby Ives had 1 goal against and a .969 save percentage. Oof. She had herself a game.
Yeah, just a little bit, almost a 9.7. Yeah, I think you're feeling pretty good about yourself at that point.
Oh, for sure. I mean, both teams at the end of the game did have 32 shots on goal. So, I mean, 1 goal on 32 shots, that's not too shabby. We are not going to hate on that one bit whatsoever. Elaine Chuli also had a great game. She may have allowed 4 goals. However, her save percentage was an .875. So, I mean,
it's not, it's not bad when you have 4 goals on 32 shots. I mean, it's not 900, but.
Mm-mm. And then
of course, Gary has to show up because we're talking WoHo. Of course he does. So.
We're talking WoHo, and we all know Gary is a fan of the WoHo. The next series we'll kind of recap real quick. We did have the Boston Pride make a visit to Quebec to play the Montreal Force. On Saturday, the Boston Pride showed out with a 5-0 shutout of the Montreal Force.
I mean, are we shocked that the Pride get shutouts?
At this point, we're really not. I mean, Corinne Schroeder, come on now. She is just.
I want to know what the single season record for shutouts is, unless she's
already broken it.
She's already had her break it at this point. So I'm curious, like, does she hit 10? Because she's at what, 5 now, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And
does she hit 10?
Also, I'm just going to throw this out there. This was not an easy shutout by any sense of the word. Mm-hmm. Corinne Schroeder faced 50 shots. 5-0.
Hold on. Are we sure we're not talking about like the Canadians here? Like 50 shots on goal in the PHF. That's that like 35 range is about normal. 40 if you're really on it that night. 50 shots in a PHF game by
50
one team.
shots, and it was a shutout. And oh, by the way, she got another assist because why not?
I mean, why not? So basically, what you mean is Death Taxes and Corinne Schroeder gets a shutout just because.
That does appear to be the new way of the WoHo world.
I mean, honestly, hot take. I think she hits 10. I think she's gonna hit 10 shutties this year, which it might be tough, but I think hey, she's already gotten 5. Who's to say she can't get another 5? It's possible. It's possible. It's a long shot. We love our hot takes. I think I think she hits double digits, and I think that's a record that might not be broken for a while unless we get more teams, more games of the season, stuff like that.
That's going to be like a Tony Esposito level record.
Yeah, I think she's. I'm like it's going on the limb on this one, but I think she's going to do it. I think she's going to hit 10.
And not only did she get a 50 save shutout, Lauren Gable scored not a hat trick. She had 4 of the 5 Pride goals in that game.
What do you even call 4 goals in a game? Like I know, we gotta come up with a good term for a 4-goal game because that's insane.
We do. I have a joking term that I use just amongst friends that I will not share because it is really just like an internal thing. But I think we should come up with something. We should figure something out.
Yeah, we should.
And then, of course, Lauren Gable could not be stopped this weekend. She did have another goal in Sunday's game between the Force. That game did actually go into overtime. It was tied at 1 at the end of the third. So they did go to overtime. And at the end of the day, the Force forced their way through Corinne Schroeder. Just before overtime was over, like less than a minute on the clock. They did net that game-winning goal. And, you know, I am never, ever sad to see Jade Downey Landry score a goal. She is absolutely just a force to be reckoned with. It is appropriate that she plays to the force because, whew, she can get it done.
You're forcing these puns a little bit.
You know, sometimes I really can't help myself, and it is what it is. So the final series we did see this weekend, the Metropolitan Riveters rode on up to Buffalo to face the Buttes. The Buttes did win Saturday's matchup 4-1, so they did have a good rebound from their Connecticut Tuesday and Wednesday trip. We did see goals from Whitney Dove, Jessica Healy, Courtney Maud, and Claudia Kepler. And then on the Riveter side of things, we did have a goal from Mintu Tuominen. It was a pretty lightly physical game for like a Riveters game. Which
is very surprising.
To the point where like there were no Kendall Cornine penalties, which is like, you know, I mean, she's
wait, hold up.
Yeah.
There's no way you can tell me we got no core nine penalties in the game.
No core nine penalties.
You might as well say that Madison Packer didn't get any penalties, or Kelly or Babstock didn't get any penalties. Because come on, let's be honest here.
There were also no Babstock penalties, and Madison Packer did have a singular penalty towards the end of the game. She did get a 2 minutes for roughing.
Okay, you have to be pulling my leg here because there's no way. There's no way Babstock didn't get a penalty because that's like rain. It's gonna happen regardless. There's no way.
No, it did not happen. There were no Babstock penalties. There were no Cornine penalties, and there was a singular.
I call Madison Packer. I call shenanigans.
I'm about to give you some shenanigans, sir. On Sunday's game,
oh jeez,
the Riveters came back after a 2-2 tie to end the second period and net 6 goals for a final score of 8-2.
Oh my.
This game saw the scoring open in Buffalo open the scoring. Courtney Maud did score the first goal. We had a Kelly Babstock goal. We had an MGM goal.
Wow.
It's been
a while since we said an MGM goal.
It is. It definitely has been, but it seems like the Buttes are finally kind of starting to gel and really find their way. So, that is a good thing to see because they definitely have not had the best campaign this season. No. We saw another Kelly Babstock goal. And then in the third period, I was actually on the phone when all of this scoring started. So when the Riveters net their third goal, it was a Mintu Tuominen goal. And then over the course of 2 minutes and 35 seconds, the Riveters scored 4 more goals. At 6:01, we had a goal from Kendall Cornine. At 7:07, we had a Madison Packer goal. At 7:29, we had a Reagan Rust goal. And at 8:36, we had a Madison Packer goal. Would you like to know how confusing it was to be on the phone and have my Twitter just going, because not only was I getting scoring updates from the Riveters, I was also getting scoring updates from the Buttes. And for that, 2 minutes, my phone was going insane. I had 19 Twitter notifications.
I'm surprised your phone didn't have a meltdown at that point. Mine starts smoke starts coming out of the speaker of the phone. You're like, what in the world? I mean, we got a Packer Hattie watch out of nowhere, and it's like, wait a minute, timeout. What's going on here? Good grief, 6 goals,
Oof, 6 goals, a 6-goal third period, and 4 of those goals were scored in 2 minutes and 35 seconds of play.
Oh my goodness, that's
was
insane.
It was absolutely insane. And then the final goal was scored by Sarah Bujold to close out the third period. Just under 5 minutes left. Zach, this is where things go right in the world. This game, we did have a Kelly Babstock penalty.
Okay.
We did have a Madison Packer penalty.
Okay.
And so things kind of did balance themselves.
Okay.
The universe came back into kind of balance here.
Okay, so there's no apocalypse coming. There's no like
no.
craziness
It was a one-off.
happening. It's okay. It was one of those random games where something happens. The hockey gods would be like, all right, hold up.
Yeah,
we got to set this right because this we don't want the mojo to go sideways on us. We got to fix it a little bit here. So I mean,
we gotta fix things a little bit. So they did give us, a few goals going on, and I mean, it was a great PHF weekend. I did watch most of it from my cell phone since I was out of town and did not have, big TV, ESPN plus access. I was possibly watching the Whale play on Saturday while I was at the wedding reception.
No, I am so shocked. Who could have seen that happen?
And
not you.
One of my aunts was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Watching hockey." And she looked at me. I was like, "This is very on brand for me. Why are you surprised?"
I mean, why? It's why are you shocked by this?
Yeah, you should not be surprised by this in any way, shape, or form. But it was a great PHF weekend, just kind of taking a look over at the standings because, things did get shaken up a little bit this weekend.
I mean, when you play 4 games in a week, kind of have a little bit of a goal differential change and standings changes and all that good stuff. So, I mean,
the schedule is also kind of back in balance again because for the most part, every team has played at least 13 games. So things are not as crazy as they were.
Right.
We do have one game coming up on the 27th. That is just before the All-Star break. We do have the Montreal Force at the Connecticut Whale. So that'll be an exciting game to see. I believe that is the only game that weekend because they're trying to balance the series out since there have been a couple weekends where the Whale have only played one game and other teams. Yeah, so it is on Friday, the 27th at 7 p.m. in Connecticut. It is the only game that weekend because All-Star break, baby. The All-Star break is the All-Star game is on the 29th. So that is going to be super exciting to see. Finally, the Toronto All-Star extravaganza that has been planned and ready to go and then moved and now back to Toronto. So we are excited to see that. We do currently still have the Boston Pride sitting on top of the standings with 34 points. They have 12 wins and 2 losses, 1 overtime loss, followed by the Toronto Six with 30 points. Whitecaps are at 26, Whale at 22, Force at 16, Ribs at 14, and the Buttes are sitting in last place in the league with 8 points. But again, they've had some struggles gelling together as a team. They also do now officially lead the league in penalty minutes with 138. Not far behind are the Riveters with 130. The Whitecaps and the Force are the only 2 teams in the league in double-digit penalty minutes for the season, but Montreal needs a singular penalty minute to cross into triple digits. They currently have 99.
Oh my word.
So, it's spicy hockey and we love some spicy PHF hockey. We're not going to complain about it. So it was a great PHF weekend. And I know we dropped some exciting news today. So I guess it's time.
Wait, we got to talk about Kennedy Marchman real quick.
You are right.
We got some pretty awesome stuff to talk about. I mean,
we do. I know that we're running a little short on time,
so
good, I don't want to push you.
You're good.
Kennedy Marchman has broken the all-time points record for the Connecticut Whale.
And
there's
more.
Keep going. I'm gonna give you a chance.
She also broke a goals record. So I mean,
yeah.
For the fact it's only been a season and a half, already breaking the goal record and the points record. You're just because it's crazy. Because you think of there's the season. I know we're in season 8. You think, okay, there's got to be someone that's been around a good bit to set records a little bit higher. But you're like, no, not really. And that just shows you how good Kennedy Marchman is for the fact that she's already broken it a season and a half in. A sophomore player has already set 2 Whale records.
Yeah.
Not to mention she did get 6 goals and assists last week to get the second star, which I mean, the first star, 5 goals. I can see that, but I mean, 7 points in 4 games, you break 2 franchise records. I think that's kind of warranted for a first start of the week. I mean, in my opinion, like, not all biases aside, because obviously we're well fans here, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, I don't know, 7 points, franchise records. It kind of would make sense, but you know what though? I mean, like you said, have a career Kennedy Marchman already.
Have a career girl, like
41 points. I think it's like what. I forget what the goals were, but it was just like, it's insane.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's wild. It's wild, man. How good Kenny Marchman is. Like, excuse me?
So good. We do want to give a quick Let's Talk WoWatcha update. Again, this is going to be quick. We are running short on time. Zach does have another commitment after this. So we are just
I'm a wanted man when it comes to talking about hockey for whatever reason. They're like, Zach, we need you to talk hockey.
We need you. Gary's turning lights off and just being his normal chaotic self. I swear Courtney trained this cat. It's fine. She's never been here, but I'm pretty sure she trained my cat.
I mean, all she has to do is like look through the screen, and it's like mojo will happen. Chaos will just be set. So it's just
absolute insanity when it comes to this kitten.
Well, you're also ready to say, that we got some awesome news that we just announced today.
We're going to go over some quick scores real quick, and then we're going to drop that awesome news. So we're just going to hit the friends of the pod real quick. Lake Superior State did play Michigan State University on Saturday. They did fall 2-1, but again, their goal differential has been minuscule all season. So, I mean, it is great to see that it's staying that way. They just gotta gel a little bit. Just gotta gel a little bit. Penn State did come into Yost Ice Arena to play University of Michigan, where University of Michigan did rout them 7-0.
Yeah.
And then
Michigan wasn't messing around.
Yeah, they did play again on Sunday. We will get there in just a moment. Looks like the Lake Superior State at Aquinas College game was not played. It was scheduled for Sunday at 1. And then Penn State had their rematch game against the University of Michigan, in which the University of Michigan said 6-1 is going to be the final score of this game. So a 13-1 goal differential on the weekend versus Penn State. Not really terrible. I mean, a 13-1 goal differential is like, okay.
It seems like Jenna Turiano, friend of the pod, is she's having herself a good season with her players in front of her, just putting on an absolute like inspiring squad of goals. It's like, okay, we see you, Michigan. Okay then.
Yep. We did have Sioux College come in and visit your friends, the Chips, at Central Michigan University on Saturday. Mm-hmm. The Chips did fall 2-1 in an overtime loss in that game.
I mean, you're talking about the undefeated number 1 team in the nation, and you take them to an OT. I mean, you can't really be upset with that.
No. So I mean, especially considering that Sioux College had 72 shots on goal.
Yeah.
That like, I think I just got heartburn from seeing that number. And then of course Sioux College did play in Central Michigan again. This game was a little tougher in the loss categories. The Chips did lose 4-0. Definitely a tough game. Again, high shots. Sioux College had 50 shots on goal.
It's safe to say why Sioux College is undefeated when you're going about, I think it was like, what'd you say, 70 and 50? So you're going like
122 shots on goal for the weekend.
In 2 games. Yeah, that's what some teams do for maybe a season, maybe a week, maybe a few games. But
that's like a 4 or 5 game goal or shot total there, not 2. So
I mean, it is what it is. But speaking of Central Michigan real quick, I know we got our news announcement, but we did get some tips though. The lovely CMU team. More importantly, the captain actually reached out to us. There was a couple things that she needed to like help us out with real quick because we were kind of confused about a couple things on our last WoShow. So they actually reached out. We dropped that episode like 9:00 that night, and like a couple hours later, get a message. Oh, hey, just listen to the show. here's a couple things real quick for you guys.
Mac, this is why you're an absolute beauty, by the way. Like,
yes, yeah. I mean, Mac Bennett, just amazing. He's a great captain. You know, you love to see it.
Yeah.
So the thing was, they played Penn State, which was D1 because they were on their way to Lake Superior State.
Mm-hmm.
They did lose, unfortunately, but that doesn't count against their schedule because that was
division.
Out of the league since it's D1 and D2.
Well, yeah, so out of division.
Yes. Well, as she puts it, it's out of league. So I'm trying to like give
understand.
And then the school name we absolutely were not even close on.
I mean, you were farther away than I was.
Listen here, I tried my best here.
We both did. Let's be honest. We both did try our best.
Yeah, it was Usinaboyne.
Usinaboyne?
Yeah, it's UHSINABOYN is how the pronunciation thing is. So yeah, it's Usinaboyne. I'm like, how? Okay.
We will look. The other great thing about Mac, not only did she give us all this information, she's going to be on the pod next week, guys. So
on Sunday, let's go. We had the alternate captain and Emily Castellani on twice already. 3 times, twice, 2 or 3, twice. And now we get the captain, Mac Bennett. Which, by the way, because the fact that we were trying, like, hey, you want to do an announcement for you? Is there any pictures? It's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Just drops like absolute heaters. Just
wait till you guys see the episode graphic because it's going to have a different image than the guest graphic that we dropped online. Which I don't know how I forgot to do this earlier. To see those graphics, please head on over to our Twitter or our Instagram at Talk Hockey Pod, and of course. You should be watching this on YouTube so you can see Zach's new fire background and the fact that he's in his office. And on YouTube, you can follow us at Let's Talk WoHo Hockey. Make sure you like our videos and, you do the commenty thing and that you're subscribed and, share them with your friends. Like do all the YouTubey things. Like,
I mean, it's WoShow, it's hot, it's the Blackhawks, but we really love the WoShow part. But yes, we are super excited to have Mac on. So we got 2 of the 3 leadership team.
We do
of Central Michigan. I get to talk to my chips. You love to see it. You love to see it.
Do.
Fire up the chips. I'm really excited. Got a couple more games this week, so I think some new winning streaks should be starting soon. So I'm just excited. It's gonna be.
I'm here for it for you, buddy. And then. The other amazing thing that dropped today, there were actually 2. I'm not going to lie. This one came first, and then the second one came shortly after, and we'll get to that in a second. The IIHF Women's World schedule has been released. We have another tournament to look forward to. As it stands, it is a 31-game schedule, and it will begin on April 5th. The quarterfinals are set to start on the 13th of April, semifinals on the 15th, and the gold medal game will take place on April 16th. Group A is comprised of Canada, the Czech Republic, Japan, Switzerland, and the U.S. Group B will be Finland, France, Germany, Hungary, and Sweden. And we get to bring the IIHF Women's Worlds back to Canada. They will be taking place at the CAA Center in Brampton, Ontario. Obviously, Canada's playing on home ice. They are hosting for the 9th time, and they have won 6 of 8 tournaments that they have played at home. So, I mean, yeah.
IIHF. Can we spread the wealth a little bit? Just nothing against Canada, but
I hear North Carolina or Florida are really great places to host hockey tournaments. Just things that I've heard.
Yeah, I think you can talk to the Hurricanes about borrowing the barn a little bit.
I could probably talk to the Icemen about borrowing the barn for a little bit.
I mean, no one would be upset with it. But it's just who
wouldn't want to be in Florida in April? Let's be honest.
Well,
it's not all in April in Florida is still that beautiful, mostly springtime, and it's not 1,000,000 degrees out yet. June to September are just awful times.
As long as the craziness that is Florida kind of like tampers itself down a little bit, we should
You're
be.
funny. You're funny. Group play does open with France taking on Finland at 11 Eastern on April 5th. The Americans open their tournament against Japan at 3 p.m. that same day, and Canada will be facing Switzerland at 7. Germany, Hungary, Japan, and Sweden will begin their play. Oh, this is definitely a typo because Japan's playing America. Germany, Hungary, another country, and Sweden will begin their play.
It'll be Chechnya then.
Yes, Czech Republic. Yes.
I thought it was Czech because for the guys it's Chechnya. So which is it Chechnya or is it Czech Republic?
The Czech Republic is what it says here. Then again, they put Japan twice. So who knows?
I think it's probably Chechnya because everyone sees that now as the thing. So that's probably what it is. But
let's see. Let me go to the IIHF website and see what they say.
IIHF, what are we doing here? Come on.
Pick a side. It says Chechnya on the IIHF site. So, whatever.
Thank you. Yes.
This is actually the first Women's World in which Finland will be playing in Group B. Because
wild.
It's so crazy because they did lose to Japan, which was even crazier. Again, people say there's no parity in women's hockey, but hello.
Japan would like to have a word, please.
For seriousness, like
for realsies.
They beat Canada in the semis to get to the silver medal game in 2019. So this is definitely nothing that the Finns are used to. So we will see how this tournament goes for them. Of course, April 10th is the day pretty much everybody who follows women's hockey will absolutely be watching, because April 10th is the first preliminary round matchup between Canada and USA. So we know a whole lots of folks are going to be watching that game. It is going to be absolutely amazing. And then to kind of wrap out the WoShow here, there was a tweet that came from our friend, Mr. WoShow. I can't say his name.
Wojcinski?
That guy.
I got you.
You got me. It was just announced at 4:30 this afternoon that Team USA's Alex Carpenter and Hillary Knight and Team Canada's Emily Clark, Rebecca Johnston, and Sarah Nurse will be participating in the NHL All-Star Skills Competition alongside the one and only Bobby Lou himself, Roberto Luongo.
Let's go. That's what's up.
That is absolutely what's up. I cannot wait to watch. Obviously we love when our WoHo stars are featured in things. Honestly, top moment ever is Kendall Coyne Schofield participating in the fastest skater competition and absolutely showing those boys how it is done. So we are super excited to see that take place. We've got IIHF Women's Worlds coming up. We've got another PHF game on Friday. We love Friday WoHo nights. And of course, PHF All-Star game is on Sunday. And we are going to be kind enough to record early enough in the day so that you can watch Let's Talk WoHo Hockey's next WoShow on Sunday and then go watch the PHF All-Star game.
See, we're looking out for you guys.
We always look out for you guys. So, my friend Zachary, as we come to the end of our show today, since you are just such a popular hockey commentator, podcaster person, I try. Where can the humans find you on the internet?
You can find me at One True Zach on Twitter. That's Only True Zach. It's spelled out, not like number one, like the Oneaters. You can find me on Instagram at Zach R. Martin 22. You find a whole plethora of different things I like to, personal interest stuff outside of hockey and all that good stuff. Beth, where can people find you on the socials?
Well, on the Bird app, you can find me at Wonder Beffers. That is like the word wonderful, not like the number one over there, like my co-host Zach.
Like, I wonder what happened to the Oneaters.
You got it, my friend. And on Instagram, you can follow me at Good Better Beffers. You will mostly see pictures of my pets because I love them. And that's what Instagram's for. It's for like pets and food. And of course, You can check us out on Twitter and Instagram as well at Talk Will Hockey Pod. And make sure you're giving our network a follow as well. For Instagram and Twitter, it is the number 5 and a game SN. And on TikTok, where Kat is absolutely slaying the TikTok game, it is the word 5 game SN. For myself, Beth. For my dude, Zach. This has been the 41st episode of Let's Talk WoHo Hockey, our amazing WoShow. We're going to see you guys in just a couple days for the hockey show, but we had some delays. It is what it is. Life happens. Yeah. We will catch you guys next time. Bye.
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 Thank you for watching this 5 in a Game Sports Network podcast. Now avoid the selfie and go enjoy.